Uh-oh. Give me a second. Okay. Now, let's just do this. Hello everyone, new viewers from the ever-free radio scene. Welcome to the first episode of Cutie Art Crusaders. I am one of your hosts, Rainbow Plasma. I run the podcast, I host it, and I edit it. And today I'm joined by three of my very good friends. Would you like to introduce yourself, guys?
Sure. My name's Bern. I do basically help with all these special guests that we're hopefully going to be able to get on our show. I think I have one scheduled so far, but we're hoping to get some awesome artists that people are maybe interested in. And I am also a vector artist, and that is basically my job description in the show.
Cool. My name is Flutterguy317, and I basically will handle all of the art submissions that you guys will send in, or directing basically the art for the week. And I am also a vector artist, like Rainbow Plasma and Burn. So that's pretty much my job around here.
Okay, I'm My Little Pinky Dash or Picky Dash or MLPD, PD, whatever. I go by a few names. The section I'm running is Q&A, so we have a little Q&A section in each episode, fueled by the viewers, which is good. Yeah, so that's my job. Pretty easy to tell my voice. I'm a token Australian.
So seeing as this is the first episode, it's a bit weird trying to explain what the show is about, who we are, and everything. That's kind of what the first episode is going to be about, just because it's a little bit difficult. Even, stuff like voices, you guys might not know our voices yet. It takes a little while to get used to. So I hope you bear with us for this first episode while we kind of explain what the show is all about. So there's two big questions that you guys are probably asking walking into this. Two big questions. Hello and welcome back to the Cutie Art Crusaders for episode 100 for June 3rd, 2014. Woohoo!
Yeah.
That totally was spontaneous, not planned at all.
Nope, not at all.
My name is Rainbow Plasma. I'm the organizer and this week's editor for the show, and today I'm joined by...
Burn1, the special guest coordinator.
Flutterguy317, the media manager.
Admiral Spark, the questions guy.
Man, that was the quickest intro we've ever done.
Yeah. Well, it was following the longest intro we've ever done. With our 3-minute intro.
So
there.
awkward. I'm so bad. I was so bad at talking.
I hope
too.
that you guys enjoyed that little special intro that we did looking back on episode 1. But we are in episode 100 here. We're finally here after talking about it for so long. So we should jump right into it because we have over... God, I don't know the exact amount. I think there's 16 submissions that we're going through.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't count them.
Quite a few.
So we have to get through quite a bit. This episode, just to give people a heads up, is going to be about an hour and a half long because we want to make sure that everyone gets their time in and we get to talk about stuff. So sit your butts down and get ready for 90 minutes of Cutie Art Crusader love. Do we have something else that we want to talk about before we get to that, though?
Yes, we do. It is a certain someone's birthday today.
Yay.
Is it yours?
No, it is yours.
Oh,
Happy birthday, Atmospark.
Thank you.
It's literally your birthday as we are recording this episode, so.
Yeah. So it's
Happy
no longer his
birthday.
birthday, so you don't have to wish him a happy... No, wish him a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Atmo Joel Pinky Dash Spark.
What do you mean? That was never my name. You are wrong. The guy in the video got my name wrong.
I can't believe that you're only 65.
Right?
You look so young.
You look like a spry 32.
I feel like a sprightly man of 70.
All right. Anyways, happy birthday, dude. Hope your birthday's going well. And what better way to celebrate a birthday than by hearing a bunch of people talk about how awesome you are? Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
So, I guess the best way to get right into this stuff would be to have some sort of transition.
Well, I mean, Flutter Guy, I can't possibly know what the heck you're talking about here. Could you perhaps elaborate more on what type of transition you'd like?
Well, I was thinking, and I maybe have been inspired by some people in the chat a couple of weeks ago, that I could see another dusk shine transition.
Kill yourself.
I was gonna yell dusk shine transition, but I think that moment has passed. Okay. Well, now that we've gotten that out of our systems, I guess we should get to the lovely people who sent in little letters for us for episode 100, answering the two questions: what have you learned from the podcast over the last 100 episodes, and what have you enjoyed about the podcast over the last 100 episodes? So let's jump right into it. I believe, Bern, you have the first letter, don't you?
I think I do. All right. I guess, should I say who it's from first?
Yeah,
sure.
Okay. I just didn't know how to do this. So our first email, I guess, sent in to us is by Sonnenblitz. I always want to say Schonen because it sounds more German. Ooh, look at me. But it's Sonnen. Sorry, it's just an S. And he says, meinen herzlichen Glückwunsch.
Yay!
Yeah, Glückwunsch.
You kind of got it right.
Which is basically German for congratulations. Or literally, I think, many happy returns of the day. Yeah. Anyway. 100 episodes of Cutie Art Crusaders. That's long. You rock. Woohoo. What have I learned? Different stuff, but mainly two things. As a designer, I know about the creative stuff, color, composition. So for me, since I'm German, it's more about learning all this stuff in English, like the meaning of value, atmospheric perspective, Blorange, very important.
Yes.
So now I can be creative in two languages. Since I watch your show, I know for sure that there are many girls and guys who can paint and draw much better than me, and due to my work, I find less and less time to make pictures of pastel ponies. Oh, unfortunate. Since I don't really get any better at it, what I learned from you is it isn't important how good you are. It is important that you never give up. I know I will never be a horse famous painter like Pony Casso or so, but I don't care. I will keep making stuff, and at some point in time, with enough practice, it will be good enough that others will at least say, that looks great. What have I enjoyed? I enjoy, in no particular order, learning new stuff, lots of different themes and tons of great art, funny Q&As. These four very different guys here, Rainbow Plasma, Burn, Flutter Guy, Atlas Spark, and the mix of characters is what makes the show so funny and entertaining. And of course, Crab Battle. So really all of it. There's not much I haven't enjoyed. COC has become my Wednesday evening entertainment program because of Germany. Again, congratulations on 100 episodes. Keep up the awesome, Sonnenblitz.
Oh.
Well, that was awesome. That is from our very German friend,
Yes.
Sonnenblitz, or Sonnenblitz, or however you pronounce it.
Yes, Deutschland, ja.
Sehr gut.
So
Yeah.
thank you very much for sending that in. I like the way that he
Dankeschön.
kind of talked about the mix of characters, and he really likes your crab battle. So there you go, Burns.
Yeah.
Crab battle.
That's
Yes.
I think crab battle is kind of like your thing. That's how I always imagine it. I mean, we
I
all
like
we
to
all
think it's
participate in
my
it, but it's kind of
child.
your
Yeah.
thing.
It's
sure.
a universal thing that was birthed by you.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
to
Well,
this podcast.
I can't take all credit.
Yeah.
I brought it to this podcast. I am like the bringer over, if you
Burned, you birthed crabs. How do you feel about that?
will. A little itchy.
Wow. All right, we're gonna leave that in. We're gonna leave that in. Okay, sure. Oh man. Shall we move on to the next one?
Sure. So this next submission is by Blue Moon 1996, and it goes, "Let me start this off by saying that y'all have kept me entertained for countless hours. It's that unique blend of information and outright mental insanity of the good kind that is distinctly CAC and it's kept me tuning back in every Tuesday night. The fact that 4 seemingly random guys from around the globe with only a passion about art in common have become as thick as thieves show the power that the ponies have. Though I tend to dabble more in the fanfiction side of the fandom, y'all have taught this small-town Texan much about the ways of art and showed me many great pony artists like Otaku AP, Late Customer, Jowie Bean, Atrill, and Blitz Pony.
Blitz Pony.
Oh yeah, value, giggle, butts.
Damn it.
Zoom in on the
Not
dirt
cool
face.
anymore.
Get in the cage. Burned pizza. I got licked by a cow. Cookie dough ice cream, and all that jazz.
I think we have an Iowa fan.
Apparently, people like the memes. People like the memes. I was surprised at how well people have taken to some of our memes.
Hmm.
Especially the ones that we have no plan for.
I know.
Yeah.
Like the whole licked by a cow thing, like, you know, that was a real story.
That was just one story. That was literally a
Right.
sentence. It was, I
Right.
got licked by a cow.
Yeah.
That was kind of it.
Yeah.
I got licked by a cow today. Pinky Dash 2013.
Yeah. Well, thank you, small town Texan.
Yes.
Thank you for sending in that wonderful little letter.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, so next one.
Want to do the next one? Okay.
Yep.
As a college student with a multimedia
Who's it
emphasis,
from?
I was going to do that at the end, but okay. By Storm Shield.
There we go.
Yay.
Go on.
As a college student with a multimedia emphasis, I find the podcasts really informative, allowing me to look back on terms and definitions that I forgot going through college. With each new podcast and art piece, I am reminded on the many different aspects that each piece can bring to the table. The entertainment that you four bring has been enjoyable as well. I like the stories that each one of you bring to the podcast, as allowing us as the viewers to get a sense of depth of each one of you and to relate to you all. I have been one of your viewers since episode 35 with Sibsy, and you four have not disappointed. Thank you, Storm Shield.
Yay.
Thank you, Storm Shield. Yay.
It's really fun to kind of like learn when everyone comes into the podcast.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, we actually haven't heard from too many people that they started watching at the Sibsy episode, which we expected like a lot of people to be like, yeah, that was my first one, because a lot of people would have heard of it like that. But surprisingly not that many. But yeah.
Yeah, because that was our most live viewed episode, so.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah.
thank you for your letter.
Yeah.
We hope to not disappoint in the future. Shall we do the next one then, folks?
Yep.
Awesome. All right. So the next one is from Mist Fortune. Mist is spelled with a Y. Awesome. I approve.
Exotic.
And Mist Fortune says, "Hello all at the Cutie Art Crusaders. First off, huge congratulations on 100 episodes. It has been a great ride since episode 1 till now, or in my case, the most random number order you can imagine. What have I learned? Well, to be honest, I couldn't even list all the things. I've always enjoyed art, and have spent more hours on DeviantArt than could be considered even remotely healthy, but was never all that interested in the technical side due to the fact most explanations were just a ton of facts, and this is the right way, this is the wrong way kind of thing being thrown at you. The main things, though, that have stuck with me are the explanations of different techniques of shading, coloring, as well as some of the pointers you give about how to find a personal style. It has also been great to hear the different ways different artists achieve their finished products, and not just hearing a one way is the right way answer. There are a lot more, but I'm trying to keep this relatively short." You ended up being one of the longest ones. What did I enjoy about the podcast? Again, too many things to list, but the absolute main one is just how enjoyable the show was as a whole. I hope still is. I know answering with enjoyable is kind of cheating, but hey, it's a good and accurate word. Your synergy as co-hosts and fun little rants, sayings that have taken a life of their own like value, and my personal favorite that I'm sure one of you will enjoy and one of you will hate, the dusk shine transition.
Damn it.
Fantastic. Twice in one episode. That's great. That whole episode was just a riot. The thing is, a lot of information-based podcasts are either too many facts and no humor, too much humor and lacking on facts, or it feels as if it's talking down to the viewers. Your show has a wonderful mix of humor, facts, and hosts who take into account that not everyone is going to be an art student. The most important reaction I enjoyed Oh my god, I'm an idiot. The most important reason I enjoyed the podcast is the fact that you sound like you guys really do care about what you're doing. It makes the podcast feel open to everyone and not just those whose lives are heavily involved in art. Guess these were long answers, but I've truly enjoyed each and every episode. Many an episode I've watched more than once, either to try and better understand an idea or just have a good laugh at the banter. Congrats again on 100 episodes, and here's hope for many, many more to come. Keep up the great work. Thanks for all your time, effort, and genuine care. It really does show. May fortune smile upon you. Yes, that was a pun with the person's name. And that's from Missed Fortune. So thank you very much, Missed Fortune.
Yay!
Yeah,
Thanks.
that was really thoughtful. I guess essay of the show.
Yeah.
It's always really awesome to hear that. Appreciate it.
It's also interesting to hear that some people watch episodes more than once, because I don't know, for some reason I kind of wouldn't expect it. I kind of would expect you to watch the episode once and
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We live through it once, and then a couple of us watch it on the Tuesday, but we just kind of go with it. I also really like the fact that they talked about like the whole, it's a mix of humor and facts and stuff like that, and you don't need to be heavily involved in art, because like personally I am not heavily involved in art at all, but I still enjoy doing this, and we try to create this atmosphere where everyone can enjoy, regardless of your art knowledge. So thank you.
I really wish I could bring some more depth to some things, because I really love doing like that value episode. I remember I used to like piece apart pieces, like show like how they started with like a basis of here to there, then there, then blah blah. I haven't done that in a little while. I wish I could.
You're gonna have to find a new term to teach us.
yeah. It's gonna become another meme, and then there'll be a T-shirt with it.
I've been slacking, man. It's been too many episodes.
Is there a T-shirt with value on it?
Dude, there should be.
Oh my
Let's not encourage anyone.
Yeah,
so
it's-
shall we go?
Just white T-shirts, right?
Oh yeah.
Such value.
Shall we go on to the next one?
I wanted to mention something about that point that Byrne is quite an aspiring artist, and the rest of us have done art in the past, whatever. But like, I honestly, when I came into the podcast, had no idea about anything really related to art besides just how to make vectors. So it's interesting because I feel like we've been learning as well as you have been learning, and that's kind of why we try and keep it like open to audiences who maybe not are super involved in art, but yeah.
Because we're kind of not in a lot of ways. So yeah.
That was
What
the
they
only
said.
reason I actually took art classes, was so I could bring it back and like say it on the show.
Yeah. So you appear super smart.
I liked what I was doing,
Yeah.
That I like seeming smart. All right.
You are smart, Vern.
Anyway, so our next question is sent in by Katarina Tomleden.
How do you mess up
Tomleden?
Katrina?
Oh wow!
There was a hurricane
Because
named after
'cause
it, Burns.
League of Legends. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Do you wanna-
okay.
So
You get a pass.
Katrina
Wait.
Tomleden. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, aka Cool Cat Draw.
Cat cool draw. Burns.
Cat. Oh my goodness!
Vern,
Wow.
do you want to try that over again
Cat.
and just say cat cool draw or
Sure.
yeah.
So our next email is sent in by Cat Cool Draw, and she says, "Hey guys, just wanted to say congratulations on your 100th episode of Cutie Art Crusaders. I've watched your little podcast from episode 1, and it just kept getting better from there." Episode 1, wow. My art has improved a lot from watching your show, and I've learned more about art than I have from my art class in my high school. You guys have truly kept me motivated to keep getting better at drawing and try new styles and techniques once in a while. You guys are just a joy to listen to, both educational and hilarious, and seem like the nicest down-to-earth people in general. From all the in-jokes, tips, guests, art pieces you feature, it's hard to get bored watching your guys' show. I think this show is a very good example of what good bronies can give to others. It's fun, interesting, educational, and features talented and nice people whom we can be inspired by to be creative. So Rainbow Plasma, Burned, Atmo, and Flutterguy, keep being fun and inspiring. We'll try. I look forward to many more great CAC episodes, and after it's done, I hope for success in your guys' future. Your fan, Katrina Tomdan, or Cat Cool Draw.
Cool. Yeah.
I do
Well,
remember.
thank you very much.
I remember Cat Cool Draw being there from like the very beginning. There's like, it's interesting because we know like what fans, or we kind of can pick out fans or whatever, and we can kind of see, about when people started watching our podcast. So it's always interesting to see that.
Yeah. Also, I'm not dead to it. I'm a Pegasus. I fly.
I think it's really cool to see that people have stuck around since episode 1, because you kind of expect, I have a lot of experience like listening to podcasts, so I know that occasionally you like drop out and drop back in, and you go back and forth and stuff, but it seems like a lot of people are really dedicated to like sticking around, and to me that really is awesome, and I'm glad that we could make something that makes people want to stick around for 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, really.
It's also really nice when you remember like a fan's name, like Flutter. I remember Cat Cool Draw. Like,
yeah,
I know there's definitely a few fans whom I remember from like way early when we first started, and then like I keep seeing them like either in the chat or like liking things on DeviantArt and whatnot.
Yeah. I know Kat did like a bit of art for us, and she sent in questions, and so thank you so much for this email.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to do the next one now?
Sure.
Okay, so next one sent in by Otaku AP. You may have heard of him. He does a little bit of art for us every now and then. What have I learned from watching the show, ... Well, a lot! ! Most of the times you guys point out something interesting about an art piece, I usually notice myself trying to incorporate them into my own art, and that's probably how I made so much progress in 2 years. Yes, you have. Also, it's because of you that I started doing art. I did do a couple of art pieces before I started watching, but it's thanks to you that I kept doing art, so thanks. Love, Otaku AP, The Moth King. Also, on a side note, while going through your fan art folder, I hold the record for most fan art, apparently. I just checked, only counting the pieces with all 4 of you, I counted 16 pictures.
Jesus.
Wow.
Now, Otaku AP is famous on the show for being ridiculously awesome at sending us in fan art, and he's shown he's the guy that I would point to, and I would say, like, if we could visually see our impact, his improvement is huge. But I do have to say, he is actually wrong, and I would be remiss in not pointing out that Smooth Sailing Pony has made, like, 25, like, different art pieces. And they're
One
just,
an episode.
they're little sketchy things that he does once an episode, and we've totally noticed those. So, sorry, Otaku, you're not quite in terms of quantity, but you are awesome, and you definitely have stood out for us. You are definitely like tops for us, because we loved all of your fan art from the very beginning, and you've shown such improvement. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
The latest one by Smooth Sailing, Atmosparkic Perspective, is great.
Yeah. Otaku, I mean, you're kind of an inspiration to us, too, because honestly, like, up until the point when you made our very first piece of fan art, we had no idea that, like, we were such a big influence on people. And I don't know, it was kind of a big moment when we saw that, someone had made this piece of fan art of us, and it was just like, why would someone do that? Like, it's awesome. It's just really nice, and it kind of shows us that the show is appreciated, and it keeps us motivated and keeps us going, and it really means a lot to us.
And I mean, like, that started the whole like snowball effect where people started sending in fan art before, and once they saw that people were doing that, they're like, oh, I should do that as well. And I mean, like, I guess I can't say anything else but thank you, because I mean, it's always fun to have like art drawn of you, and we'd never imagine that, and you kind of open the floodgates for that. So that's really awesome, and you in turn, by making that one first piece of fan art, have inspired others to do so. Inspired others to pick up, a pen or a tablet or whatever and make art pieces for us because they were inspired by you. So, I mean, I'm sure there are many people who are inspired by you to start creating.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Or people like still inspired by you to start creating. Like, they look at your stuff now and be like, hey, that's pretty cool. I'm going to draw something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like, Otaku's work has been constantly on, like, EQD's Draw Friend and stuff. And I mean, like, when he first started, like, maybe it was far and in between and maybe wasn't on there. But then, I mean, now I'd see him on there, like, every other week, like, on a piece that he makes. And so, like, people see that, go to and get inspired. I mean, tons of people see like the Cutie Draw Friend, and then like they'll see his stuff that he makes of us as well, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's this big chain.
Yeah.
Dude's
I've
got
been
like
on
3,000
those.
watchers. It's crazy.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, right?
It's insane. And like he's made so much art of us, and so I guess indirectly some of those 3,000 watchers have seen that art and maybe have found our show because of
Yeah.
him.
So it's
that's awesome.
it's a give-take relationship. Thank you very much for your letter, and thank you for all that you've done over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Funny story about Otaku. I was talking to some Brony. I saw a picture of some Brony's phone somewhere or something, and his background was Otaku AP's picture of Twilight, like duct taped to a wall.
Yes.
So I was like, I saw someone's phone background. I was like, I know the guy drew that. Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah. Thank you very much, and I guess we'll move on to the next one then.
Yep.
All right, now this is definitely the longest one, so let me just stretch here. All right. So this one comes in from a Mr. Late Customer, or Dave Pony, as I affectionately refer to him as.
Did he send it in late?
Actually, funnily enough, he did.
Pretty late. Yeah.
It was, yeah.
It was like yesterday. And
It's funny because you like calling him Dave Pony. I prefer calling him Vargas Horse. Maybe that's just me.
anyways, from Dave Pony, he says, "Hi guys, sorry for the wall of text. Feel free to edit this. We're not editing it. Do you think we edited the show?
We're
Shut
even
up.
reading this.
It's really difficult for me to say what I've learned from your podcast. Not that I haven't learned anything, but more that there's lots of little things I've picked up. By watching your show, I'm always looking at the pieces you dig up and listening to what you guys have to say about it, and making a note to myself whether technique or way of presenting artwork I haven't thought up comes up. I'm especially interested whenever a piece that is mostly about color comes up, as I'm always trying to learn and refine the fundamentals of color theory to combat my color blindness. In case people don't know, Late Customer is colorblind. If I am to trust you guys, it looks like it is working so far. So what have I enjoyed from the podcast? Aside from it being very entertaining, or with all the antics between you four, aside from all the wonderful artists that you've brought to my attention, as well as the insight you bring to their works, aside from hearing you guys mention me on the show on occasion, my ego! What I've enjoyed most about your podcast is that it has connected me to you four, and through you I've been able to make a few more wonderful friends who I can chat with, if only for a few minutes a day, whose lives I've come to have an interest in, and find myself wishing you all well. I'm glad when I hear one of you four, Silver, Kieran, or any of the others are doing well. I'm sad when I hear one of you is having a bad time, and that I end up saying a small prayer for you. I laugh when I find Otaku AP has once again one-upped me whenever he puts my OC in one of his pieces, and I end up planning vengeance. Wait, what? Delete that last part. Hands down, what I enjoyed the most from your podcast is all the wonderful people I've met through it, and while I've only had the opportunity to meet Burned in person, I hope to meet the rest of you someday and give you a hug, a handshake, and maybe even buy you a beer or a soda for Keurig. Keep up all the good work, guys. Here's to another 100 episodes. I love you all. Late Customer, aka Dave Pony.
Vargas Horse.
Aw.
I love you too.
So this was really awesome from Dave. Because people will not know this, we first found out about Dave through a piece of fan art that he sent in for us for one of our first fan art episodes. And eventually he kind of came into our circle of friends, and now he's like one of the guys in our circle of friends. So we actually talk with him like semi-frequently. So it's been really awesome to kind of get to know him. And I guess just like the podcast has brought a lot of other people together, I guess he's brought him to us and kind of introduced us and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find it really funny that he and Otaku AP have this kind of battle going with art pieces where they like stick each other's like OCs in their own pieces. It's more of a bromance than a battle, I guess, but
Burns in there every now and then there's a third wheel.
yeah, that is
That's
true.
But you can't
pick on me.
deny the Late Customer ex Otaku AP love there. Which,
Yeah.
by the way,
Burns, get out of there.
there's
Let
not.
them have
I
their
called
fun.
for fan art of that, and nobody made it. Actually,
There
one
is
person
one.
made it, and it was amazing. But
Yeah.
we need more bromance
more of
fan
that.
art of Dave and Otaku AP.
Yeah.
I'll get a few commissions.
Select your artists very carefully, Bernd.
Where's the Trilite when you need them?
So yeah, thank you so much for sending that in. You know we love you back, bud.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
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 Guess
Alright.
Love you
Bernd,
more.
did you want to have some sort of sensual message to send him?
Sensual?
Oh, well, it's nothing that I haven't done in person, so.
Fair enough.
Oh.
No, I don't know if I told the story, but when I was at BabsCon, I got to meet Dave, and we actually like shared a hotel room and stuff. It was when we were saying our goodbyes, and we were like leaving the convention, and we were driving home. Him and his friend Shrew or Joel also is his name, ended up getting in their pickup, and then we're getting ready to drive away. And so like I said bye, like gave Dave a hug, and like started walking towards my car. And then I grabbed something from my car and I had to go back to the hotel. So I started walking back to the lobby through the parking lot or the parking garage, and then they were driving by me. And so I like flagged them down. And I was like, wait, like stop. And so like Joel like pulled up, and Dave's in the passenger seat, and he like rolled down his window. He's like, what's up? And I was just like, I love you, and just like pet his chest, like all the way down his chest, and he was like made the most girliest noise ever. He's like, and I just like kept walking away, and Joel started dying in the driver's seat.
That's great.
It was so good.
That's great.
It's like the most perfect way to say goodbye ever.
Oh, it's so great.
It'll definitely have to be a
Good times.
thing that when we meet Dave, we're gonna all have to do like incredibly creepy things to him to get that noise to come out again.
I was like, Dave, I love you. And just like,
So-
we'll have to pet Dave.
Is this gonna have to be like a one-up kind of thing? Like every time one of
Absolutely.
us meets him, like
Absolutely.
Yes.
I have a feeling I'll win this competition.
I have a feeling this will end badly or super well.
I've heard stories.
That joke was only funny to like 3 people in the entire world, and you know who you are.
Is it us?
Nope.
Oh.
All right.
All right. Shall we move on to the next fun, or should I say the next 2?
Yes. So we got in a couple of really short submissions to these questions. So I will go through both of them. The first one was sent in by David Stapleford, and he said, "Congrats on all your success. I've enjoyed every moment and learned a lot about art from your show."
Thank you, David. It's very
Thank
nice
you,
of you.
David.
It's a very
Go ahead.
go.
You do it.
Thanks,
What do you
David.
guys? You did it. You did the
I
Emma
was like-
Spark and Flutter Guy thing.
No. Burn,
Well,
you
I
go.
said
Burn, you go.
All right.
What?
I like his name, David Stapleford. It's very businessy.
Yeah.
Like I could see him like in like a
Well, it's
Business.
it's the whole like David versus Dave thing. It's business and casual. During the day, I'm David, but at night, I'm Dave. Yeah, you
But
know,
at night, I'm David.
David McDavidson Stapleford,
Davidson.
CEO of the month. I don't know.
Well, we do appreciate no matter we don't care what the length was for what you guys sent in. So like I say at the end of the show all the time, we love you all the same. So thank you for sending in that submission,
Well,
Dave.
I mean, Burn loves you all the same.
I love them all the same. Shut up, it's my
I love
thing.
you all the same. We love
love
you all
his
the
name.
same. Good night.
No, we're not ending. We got another one.
All right, so the second one is from Pink Pearl Apple, and she says, "Hi guys, sorry I have not seen many episodes due to life, work, Pixar, and other things, but keep doing what you're doing. It's amazing. I hope you guys have another 100 more episodes. Hugs, you're awesome."
Well,
So-
thank you
Pixar.
very much.
Yeah, thank you. Pink Pearl is one of the people who kind of contacted me personally in the chat when we were watching episodes and stuff like that, and she was kind of looking for some critiques of her drawing and stuff. So yeah, that was a while ago, and I guess she's been busy, but thanks.
Follow her on Twitter.
Yeah.
She's also very active on the Twitter, so that's awesome
Yes.
to see.
Yes.
The Twitter.
The Twitter. So thank you
Megan,
very
the
much
next
for
one?
sending in something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She does a lot of really, really cool humanized stuff, sketches and stuff. So check her
So
out
we have one
on the
more
Twitters.
text one.
Yeah. And I'm doing it. Because Australia. Sent in by DualShock, who is also Australian. Hi guys, DualShock here. You might not know this, but I didn't used to like visual art. I never considered it very important or interesting compared to other artistic mediums. However, watching the podcast has taught me that I actually enjoy art far more than I first thought I would. The show made me understand why art is so important and helped me appreciate how much time, skill, and effort goes into these art pieces. Since the CAC began, I began purposely searching for featured pieces, making some of my own art, and even looking up some of Burns' fancy words just to understand whatever he was going on about. I eventually started learning how to look at art with a critical eye myself and pick up on the awesome details that I used to miss. Guests have also given me some great insight into the technical side of things, as well as a better grasp of their individual and often unique approach to the medium. I like to think that this knowledge has improved my own artistic ability, or at least opened my eyes to how fun and interesting the medium of visual art really is. Anyway, what have I enjoyed about the show? Well, basically, it's just you four being silly and fun. The show's lightheartedness is always a welcome change of pace. Listening as the conversation changes from a professional critique to a silly joke, or from a casual remark to an intense discussion is always greatly entertaining. It's also become interesting now to get your impressions on the art you feature and be able to come up with my own opinion at the same time. It's great when I have a particular thought on a piece and one of you brings it up seconds later, or when someone points something out I didn't even notice and you'll explain or discuss it. It really is a good balance between fun and informative, so thanks for 100 episodes. Loyal CAC fan, DualShock.
Well,
Hey.
thank you very much, DualShock.
Yeah. It's interesting that you mentioned that, people have started to kind of catch on to things that we talk about. Because I'm usually in the chat when our show airs live, and someone will bring up a point about a piece in the chat, and I'll be sitting there and thinking that, we said something about that a few seconds later, and just like keeping it to myself. And then when we bring it up on the show, I'll be like, haha, see,
I just thought of
hey,
that."
there you go, yeah. And then, it's always fun to see like people picking up on those kind of things, and yeah.
It is so hard with the live chat to sit there knowing what you're gonna say, and then having people be like, "Well, they should talk about this," and it's like, "We will just wait, we'll totally say it."
for it.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's really cool because like I've seen some people who maybe aren't that confident in their artistic ability or in their artistic grasp of the piece or whatever, and they'll be like, yeah, I think this about the piece, and then a few seconds later we'll bring it up and they'll be like, aha, I was right. So, and then we'll be like, yeah, that's cool. So it's awesome. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And
Also, high five to being Australian.
yeah,
We're awesome.
yeah. I really can't stress this enough because it's really important to me. But I'm so happy that so many people are saying that it's got a good balance down, because I remember that was a really big sticking point for me. Like as kind of like the organizer of the podcast, I know that we wanted to keep it fun, we wanted to keep it informative, and at first I was more of kind of like the fun guy, but Bernd has really like stepped up in terms of like keeping it informational and stuff. And so we kind of decided early on, like probably even before the first episode aired, we were like, we want to get a balance down. We want this to be fun and educational. And so it was kind of our goal from day one, and we've never really like actively done it. It's just kind of happened, but like I'm so glad that that's come out, because that was like my number one goal for this podcast, is to get that balance down, and it's really awesome to hear that it's kind of come out.
Yeah. It's interesting too to see kind of the evolution of the podcast, and I'm sure we'll talk about this later when we do our own answering to these questions. I don't know if that's supposed to be a secret or not, but
Nope, it's not.
No. Okay, good. But
Yes.
it's kind of interesting to see, because like at the beginning we were all kind of nervous a little bit, and we knew each other, but we didn't know each other that well, and like we had hung out a little bit, but we hadn't hung out with each other for that long. And if you had heard in our introduction this episode, which was actually the introduction to our first episode, it was so weird to go back and hear that, because we're all kind of like, hey guys, like,
Yeah.
I was so nervous.
Yeah.
And I would always say or like, and I still do, but I've gotten better.
Yeah.
My audio
it's
was so
It's a
bad.
comfort thing. Yeah. Well, your audio is
Yeah.
still kind of bad, but that's fine.
No, it's not. You're wrong.
No, it's better. It's a lot better, definitely.
Yeah, it's funny, even looking back, 2 years ago, where I was in terms of like my confidence speaking and stuff like that. I was at the time, I was like by far the most confident one speaking on a microphone and doing that kind of whole shebang. But we've all kind of come really far in that regard, and so it's I don't know, it's kind of interesting to see the journey, and I'm just glad that we kind of hit a couple of the points that we really wanted to hit on.
Yeah.
Our
This
confidence
show
increases
really
with the amount of horse points that we accumulate.
Yeah.
No, like actually speaking, like horse points have seriously increased my confidence and comfortability with like speaking, not even just like on a show in front of a microphone, especially with that, but even in like in person, like day-to-day activities or things like when I need to make announcements or talk to people in public or like even give a speech.
I think me too, a
I feel
little
a
bit.
lot more comfortable doing that.
I think me too a little bit. I mean, especially when I got to interview Andrea Libman. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I was so spaghetti during the interview.
Oh, me too. I was like punching your
Like-
leg and you wouldn't give me the microphone.
I know. I remember that. I was like, why are you punching me? Oh, wait.
Oh wait, I have the mic.
Yeah, and to speak on
Andrea Libman.
to speak on
Ugh.
what we were doing on episode 1 in terms of like we didn't really know each other that well. I mean, at the time, we hadn't been talking closely for like more than 2 months at the time, you know, because we were all in the same Vector Club, but the podcast was really what brought us all together, and so the podcast has brought a lot of friendships to us as well, and it kind of started as this project that we were working on together, but it quickly evolved into like a way to get us all together during the week, you know, like to get us back and like talking to each other and kind of keep up these friendships and grow them and stuff like that. And now it's been 2 years and 2 months, and I mean, like, that's insane. I couldn't imagine it any other way. But you know, when we started out, it wasn't quite like that. But there was obviously there's obviously been this like chemistry between the four of us that was just kind of, it was meant to be, because it didn't take very long for us to get into the groove with that.
Yeah. I think, like, there's certain turning points, and I can't pinpoint specifically which ones, but I know, like, for me personally, I think it was probably just kind of gaining confidence about art in general, because I've been a confident speaker in the past, and I don't know, being on a podcast was kind of new for me, and talking with you guys who I had barely known, and I didn't really know a lot about art, but Burned, when you kind of introduced all this art stuff and like when it clicked, it was just like, oh, hey, I can actually talk about this and be confident.
Man,
Yeah.
whenever you compliment me about something that like I've taught you, or whenever you, especially whenever you like ask me a question on the show, or when any of you ask me a question like, "Hey, Burned, like how does this work?" It's like, like a piece of me inside just melts, and it feels like it feels so good. I can't describe how good it feels to like to hear someone say like, "You have taught me something," or "I learned something from you," or like, man.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not just necessarily like terminology that you've taught either. Like, I know personally, this is just between you and I. Like you taught me on a really important lesson about how important the informative side of art is, because for the first half a year or so, up until we got to like the 20s or so, we were kind of going back and forth, and it was good. But there was, when you started talking about the value stuff, it's funny that we mentioned value because it's such a meme nowadays. But like when you sat down and you were like, I want to do an episode on this. And I remember you came to me and you were like, I want to do an episode on this. This is really important to me. And I said, okay, well, if you want to do an episode on it, then you're going to have to organize the entire thing by yourself, and we're just going to kind of be there. And I said, if you want to do that, then we'll do that. And you did. You organized the entire episode, and you got everything in order, and you presented it in such an amazing manner. I just kind of sat back during that episode, and it kind of opened my eyes to the wonders of the informative side of the podcast and what we could bring, and ever since then, that was definitely a turning point. That episode was a huge turning point for me, just in terms of like mentality shift, you know?
Yeah. I have to make a confession about when I kind of get onto like on topic or on rants with like art, or if I'm talking on the podcast or whatever, I tend to make a lot of motions with my hands to kind of stay confident. It's just kind of a thing that like has helped me, and I don't know, it's kind of weird. But
If we're doing confessions, whenever I'm talking about a particular thing in an art piece, I have it on my screen and I'm pointing at it. I know you guys can't see it, but I'm pointing.
I absolutely do that as well. I point and I gesture, and it's just kind of it's very Italian of me, but I absolutely I'll point and I'll like frame stuff as if you were right next to me and I was like showing you exactly how it is. I definitely do that for sure.
like, look at this thing right here that I'm pointing.
I do that a little bit, and I'm known for like putting my palm up, like presenting it, kind of like the Luke Picard, you know, like right here on the right hand side of the piece, as you can see. I think one thing I do that you guys don't is I'm known for like hitting my desk or slamming my desk or something. I do that a lot.
We know this.
Yeah.
Also the burn noises.
The burned
Yes.
noises.
You don't know nothing about bird
The
noises.
secret noises that like barely anyone ever hears about, but is so it's part of our like vocabulary now. We're not even gonna reveal them. We're just gonna mention that there are burned noises.
They'll come up. Yeah.
They'll come up eventually.
They'll come up.
Yeah, everyone's gonna want to know.
So,
All right.
so we do also. That's a very
Joel
Joel
noise.
noise. So we also had some audio submissions. We asked for text and/or audio. I shouldn't have included the and/or because someone sent in text and audio, but that's fine.
Audio hype.
So we've got 5 different people who sent in audio pieces here. So we're gonna start playing them in order, and this very first one is from how do you
Bron RG.
Bron RG or
Yep.
Bronrg?
In
Brorng.
in the audio, he says Bron RG. So
Okay.
both it.
We had
Ruin our fun.
Flutter
I
Guy
know, I'm
take a look
sorry.
through them first to make sure they were okay.
yeah, I tried not to listen too hard because I wanted to be still like in awe. But
All right.
yeah, I had to review them.
All right. So everyone open it up, and we will start at 0, and we'll do the countdown.
3, 2, 1, go.
Right, name is Brony, and I am doing this audio recording for Cutie Art Crusaders episode 100 special of 1 year thing. Anyway, what have I learned from the podcast? I have learned about all these different sorts of values and perspective and all kinds of things that I would normally never look for in an art. I mean, I'm an art lover. I just go around and just look at stuff, but I don't really pay attention to those things until I found this show, and then I listened to all your talking, and I learned about these things like value, perspective, and those kind of things that I don't pay attention to. What have I enjoyed about the podcast? All of you 4, Rainbow Plasma, Burn, Flood Guy, Atmospheric. Yeah, you guys are freaking awesome with your different personalities mixing in together, and it just works. The 4 of your dynamics are just really flowing and really together, and it's kind of just fun. But yeah, so I guess that will be it. Alright, I thank you for listening to this audio recording. Stay cool, you 4.
Oh.
That's
Yay.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
thank
thank
you.
you, Bron RG, for sending that in. It's a bit quiet, so I'll see if I can crank that up in editing.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you very
See, like,
much.
that right there is proof that we have a dynamic between us.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it's true. There's definitely
Yeah.
a dynamic is a very conservative way of putting it, Burned.
You and me have synergy.
Oh my goodness, you planned that, didn't you?
Nah, I was freestyling that one.
Good job.
Dude,
Good job.
you should freestyle more often.
Has the podcast helped you freestyle more often?
Yes, actually it does.
Can we expect like a Burns rap album or something?
Yes, please.
Or freestyle poetry,
Oh,
I just picture like that awful like 80s or 90s rap, just like Burns rap. It's hip hop. Yeah, 90s.
yeah, you got to make your own '90s video like Pinkie Pie.
Yes. Oh my god.
Yes.
So
Can we get
thank
a
you,
Burn and
Prodigy.
Rainbow Plasma duet?
Let me show you what I have to say about value today.
We'd have to make a song, and we'd have to have me doing like the chorus singing, and then Burned would be rapping in the verses.
You'd have to be beatboxing. Like,
No,
Atma's gonna
that would be
beatbox.
Atma's
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
And then Flutter
I'm
Guy
not good
can
at
mix
that.
the melody.
I'll mix it. Yeah.
Jeez,
We got this,
is
guys.
weird.
We got this.
This is getting too real. We need to move on to the next one.
guys,
CAC, the
look,
valuable album coming 2015.
look for our LP soon.
Oh my god.
Thank you, Bron RG. That was amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move on to our next audio submission, which was sent in by Gregory.
So, in response to your guys' questions, what have you learned from the podcast and what have you enjoyed about the podcast? Well, sadly, I haven't had the pleasure of knowing you guys for very long. It was only a month or so ago that I discovered the Everfree Network and saw the Crab Battle 3rd edition. And I was instantly hooked after I saw that.
Yes.
I had to see more from the CAC. I had to find out who these guys were. So even though I have only seen about 3 or 4 episodes, I have learned a great deal already. About art tricks and techniques, artists, and probably most importantly to me, I have got to learn a lot about you guys.
Aw.
It's amazing getting to hear your voices and hear how well you guys work together as a team and talk about basically how art works. So I have to say that I probably enjoyed everything you guys have had to offer. And I'm sad to say that I didn't find the CAC for so long. You guys do such a great job, and I can't wait to see more.
We're gonna go far, Greg.
So that is it for me, and I really enjoy you guys and can't wait to see more. So, bye-bye.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Gregory.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, man.
So there was some part in there in the middle that we cut out that was he asked a couple of questions too. So what we're gonna do, Greg, if I can call you Greg, is we're gonna take those questions and we're gonna stick them in our giant bag of questions, and we will be answering those on a future episode, hopefully.
I think what we should do is on our future episode, like when we actually have a question feature, we should actually play that audio for the question.
Oh, that'd
Yeah,
be
we can
cool.
do that.
That'd be pretty
That'd be
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Burned, I'm gonna make you do that.
That's fine.
Because I totally don't want to do that. So, so yeah. But yeah. So thank you for everything. I really liked the fact that we got a submission from a newer fan, because I think that, like I said, we love you all the same. Whether or not you came in episode 1, episode 10, or episode 100, it's really awesome to see that people are still kind of discovering us and are really appreciating us, even though, I can understand sometimes it's a little bit hard to walk into a podcast like 90 episodes in. It can be a bit intimidating. So to see people do that and still enjoy it, it's really awesome. I hope you have a fun time going through the backlog.
Yeah. Watch the value episode.
It took like 20 episodes before I turned off that really bad filter on the characters, but I fixed it, I swear.
That's why it's gray. Just don't worry about
Don't worry, we're not emo. I swear.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because, like, for me at least, when I joined the fandom and when we started the podcast and stuff like that, it was all new, and I don't know, it was interesting because, like, I got to meet a lot of new people, and like you 3 guys and 4 guys, I don't know, and a bunch of other people and stuff like that, and I don't know, it's interesting to always to see new people who are kind of joining the fandom or who are discovering our podcast and who kind of instantly click with it or like find things within it that they really like. So yeah, because it kind of reminds me of like when I first started out with the show.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, there are, I wish I would keep a list of my favorite episodes that we've done, but I really don't go back and listen to it. People would have to like remind me of the moments and I'm like, oh yeah, that was a good episode. But like there's some episodes I really loved making and I really loved editing and stuff like that. So I would definitely go back and check out our backlog because there are some pretty funny times there, and we will always recommend the value episode because that was hands down our most informative one. So
yes,
we got some awesome interviews too. It's like I'm doing an advertisement for the show now. Watch it
live
every
on
Tuesday, Everfree Network. But thank you very much for sending that in. It was awesome for you to do so, even though you only been watching for a month.
Yeah. All right, so our next audio submission is from Datamne. So
Datamne,
we will go ahead and play that.
Hello, Rainbow Plasma, Burned, Flutter Guy, and Atmos Spark. First of all, of course, happy 100.
Yay!
It's hard to imagine that I have been following you for almost 2 years now. But let's move on to the questions. I must admit that I was having trouble pinpointing exactly what I have learned from the show, but finally I settled on compiling a list of words and phrases I learned while watching. So, here they are. Titan loose brushwork, master study, subsurface scattering, tenebrism, horse famous, analogous colors, vignette, Blorange,
Yes.
and Uncanny Horse Value.
Yes.
Hey.
As you can imagine, these have been a tremendously valuable addition to my vocabulary.
Sorry.
I do love it when you get educational and throw around all these technical terms, especially when Burn starts to ramble. Luckily, the show is not serious business all the time. One of the main reasons I enjoy it so much is because of the playful interactions between you and the numerous in-jokes it has spawned. I will not list those two, as I will surely run out of time. And of course, your interaction with the fans has made it a true pleasure to be part of this adventure. It's a shame that the live streams are at 2 a.m. for me, or I'd catch them more often. Regardless of how I watch the show, I look forward to it every week. So, thank you all for the 100 fantastic episodes so far. From your loyal follower, Datamne.
That is awesome.
It's awesome.
Oh, that's
That's really,
amazing.
that's really, really cool. So thank you. Datamne has sent in like 3 or 4 really awesome, fan art pieces, and they're always really interesting styles and like abstract. It's always stuck out in my mind, at least,
Yeah.
I think, like, Datamne, even as an artist, like, as I go and look at thousands and thousands of Brony artists, Datamne is one of the ones that actually stands out because, like, every piece in his gallery is some kind of different crazy style. And he's in fact one of the only artists that I know on DeviantArt that goes specifically out of his way to, like, go look at and copy some kind of crazy, like, out there style that you wouldn't normally see, like, in everyday. And he even, like, copies a lot of things that in one episode I called, quote unquote, like, ugly artwork, where it's artwork that we would see and we wouldn't, like, instantly connect with beautiful, but it's still incredibly cool. So, like, I hugely respect him for that, and I actually really like seeing what pops up in my DeviantWatch from him because of it. He's an awesome artist.
Yeah, if you go to his gallery, like, even on just one page, there's, like, tons of different styles, and it switches from piece to piece, and it's amazing, because he really does a fantastic job at each of the styles that he tries.
Also, tenebrism. I didn't think I'd hear that word again. Man.
Oh, tenebrism.
What was that? Man, I forget what episode I brought it up, but it was a term that I had brought up called tenebroso is the Italian way of saying it, and it means light and shadow. And I had brought it up in an episode, and man, he actually went and, like, found, like, I don't know if I said the word, like, actually tenebrism, but oh man, I didn't think I'd hear that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And also there was mention of the interaction with the fans, which is really awesome because we try our best. We don't have a whole lot of time to dedicate to extra podcast stuff during the week past, what we do with this recording and stuff. But we try our best to keep ourselves open. We're always open for a conversation if you want to talk to us, and we're always trying to, like, leave little messages on, like, fan art and stuff like that. So it's really nice to see that we've kind of gotten that across too. And we wish that we could do more, but unfortunately we're not paid for this, so we have jobs and we have lives and stuff like that. But
we're paid in happiness.
we're trying to increase. We're actually trying, and we'll talk about this later. But we're trying to increase the ways that we can talk to you guys and interact with you guys because we really enjoyed doing it. And some of our best interactions have come from fans. And I mean, like, going back to talking about, like, Dave, late customer, and stuff like that. We've even gotten some really good friends from fans. So, yeah, you guys are awesome.
Yeah, it's also
go ahead.
It's also interesting to hear about fans who aren't able to make the live stream, because we don't really get to interact that often with, like, our fans who just watch our episodes on YouTube or whatever. But it's really nice to know that, we kind of have a bigger impact than just the people who come out to the live streams, even though, like, it's always a lot of fun to chat with the people in live streams. Like, it's nice to know that we kind of reach out to other people.
Well, it's easier. It's easier for us to kind of track it when we see people live. If we look at the YouTube stuff, oftentimes we don't really know who's watching the YouTube or if they're watching it every week or something. All we see is kind of like the number for the views, and so it's easy to kind of, like, have that blend into the background. But when we have, like, the live stream, there's all these people there, and it's like, oh, these people are actually watching and enjoying and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But when people send it, we know that YouTube audience has a lot of people, especially people who can't come out to the live streams, and so it's really great to hear that a lot of people use that and really appreciate the fact that we do that and put that up there, because that's my personal. I'm not really a live stream kind of guy. I'm more of a YouTube kind of guy. So I'm glad that that's working out, and I'm glad that we might get, like, a couple thousand views, like 1,000, 2,000 views on it. But, like, to me, I look at that and I go, like, because I know that you guys are really appreciating it. I look at it and go, that's like 1,000 people who like loved this episode, you know, because everyone seems to be so into it. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. All right, so we're going to move on to our next audio submission, which was sent in by the Art Flower, who also made us some awesome fan art for our 100th episode.
And it will be on the screen while he is talking.
Yep.
Heyo.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Or she is talking.
Is it she? Oh, no! I didn't do that, did I?
Yeah.
Oh! I suck.
I've learned tons of this show. Everything from value to color to movement, just everything. There's so much to learn in the big field of art. And you give a wide variety of lectures, and it's just amazing. But that's not the only thing you do. You invite artists that have a different sight on art and can give their own lectures. And also with all the art you show to us, you give us a new sight, how to break down art and see how they did it. And that's great, because people can learn a lot from that. And I've also enjoyed a lot of this, amazingly a lot. Mostly when I watch the episodes, I listen to them, or I draw. And that keeps me happy when I draw, and it keeps me to the spirit of drawing, and it isn't something that distracts me from the drawing. It's something that encouraged me to do everything better, and that's what I love about this show. It's so amazing.
So yay for 100 episodes and yay for hundreds of more. Yours sincerely, the Art Flower.
Okay, so this is proof that we didn't listen to these beforehand. Look, okay, I didn't know that you were a wonderful woman watching the podcast, so I apologize. Look, I can never get the gender thing right. I always get it wrong no matter what I try, so, you know, just, you know the deal. Anyways, thank you so much for sending in that very passionate speech. That's really awesome of you to send that in. It was really cool to hear that.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting that, because you had prefaced it with he, so I was like, okay, you must have listened to it beforehand. And then when I listened, I was like, oh,
okay,
that's not he.
Like, okay, I didn't know. I just assume.
Yeah.
No, I was like, just a lovely voice. I'm awestruck. I'm just like, oh, wow. What is this?
I really want to know some of the accents that are like there are a couple of accents that I can't quite place.
The Art Flower is actually from Sweden.
Oh, that's
awesome.
awesome.
I couldn't quite get that.
Yeah, that is amazing.
That's awesome.
It is so cool that we have fans in like so many different countries. Like Sweden, we have quite a few UK fans.
Well, some from Australia.
Yeah, I mean,
Are you eating? Are you eating while you say that?
My girlfriend just gave me cake. I couldn't help it.
We've got Well, yes, apparently we also have from Australia.
yeah.
My goodness.
And 100th episode on Joel's birthday. He has the right to eat some food.
Fair enough. But yeah, it's really cool. We have like Sweden. Man, Datomna, you're gonna have to tell us where that accent comes from, because that was cool. And like, there's so many people all across the world. We keep getting people not complaining, but just like being like, oh, by the way, I can't come out to the live streams because it's usually at like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. And we're always like, what? Where do you live? Like, it's crazy that we have people in like Sweden and all over the place.
By the way, Datomne is from the Netherlands. So
See, like, I wouldn't have even guessed that we had fans in the Netherlands. And like, I don't know where Otaku AP is, but he's somewhere in Eastern Europe.
Otaku AP's in Finland.
Well,
What's
Finland,
up?
like, Finland. Just got like we've got all of these
crazy.
crazy things, and like I know that we've got fans in like the UK, and we've got fans in South America, and we've got fans in North America, and we've got fans in Australia. We've hit like every continent except for Antarctica. Like,
no, we've got some penguin fans, I'm sure.
Yes.
Joel comments?
Atlas Spark has.
Assassin Monkey's in the Netherlands too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
So the art flower, I absolutely adore your art style because it is very kind of unique. It's very like I don't even know the right word to describe it, but it's really cool. It's very different, and it's like I want to say like it's not geometric, but like there's just something about it that's very like eye catchy and poppy, and like I don't know. It's got like kind of a Tim Burton-esque feel to it, but it's I don't know. It's a really cool style. I really enjoy it.
And she also gives me that little bit of a sense that she likes to experiment with different styles, like Datamne too. And she's got a little bit more of her own style that she really likes to work with, but she also tests out a bunch of different stuff. And you're right, there is something geometric about it. I don't know, blocky sounds like a negative thing. It's not. But there's this solidity. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Solidarity? It's not solidarity.
Solidity, yeah.
Solidity to it that's really cool, and it gives these characters really like 3D shapes, and you can see that especially in the art piece, right? Because like the 100 is so 3D.
Yeah, it's really.
It's
cool.
also she likes pointy a little bit. Like it's her like sketch art. There's a lot of like pointy noses or pointy things, and lanky, I guess, another good term.
Yeah,
with like legs and stuff are sometimes a little elongated. But like there's repetition of that, so it's not like a mistake or something. You know?
Yeah.
I would say there's a unique tinge is how I'd kind of like to word it in her style, especially in ponies. Very similar to I'd almost compare it to like My Magic Dream, where when we first like look at his style or ponies that he makes, it's almost off-putting at first, but then it's it's unique and it grows on us. It's the same kind of thing I feel like with our flower style, where it's like it's a pony like face but done in a unique way we haven't like actually seen, but it's cute, you know.
Yeah.
Also, look at your tongue burned. It's sticking out. So cute.
I am pretty adorable, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. And you can even see the improvement here from when we first got fan art from her, back in like episode 26 or 25, and to here now, like it's really awesome to see.
Yeah. All right, so we have one final art, not art. we have one final audio submission sent in by none other than Assassin Monkey. You guys ready?
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Dun, dun.
Hopefully singing hype.
Singing hype. I approve.
Song hype.
Your destiny's uncertain, and that's sometimes hard to take. But it will become much clearer with every new choice you make. Patience is never easy. I understand wanting more. I know how hard it is to wait, to spread out your wings and soar. But you stand here for a reason. You're gifted and you are strong. That crown is upon your head because you belong. Know that your time is coming soon. As the sun rises, so does the moon. As love finds a place in every heart, you are a podcast. You'll show your art. We understand you wanting more. A chance to shine, a chance to soar. Soon will come the day it turns around. Know that your time is coming soon. As the sun rises, so does the moon. As love finds a place in every heart, you're a podcast. You'll show your art. You are a podcast. You'll show your art. Well, okay then, Assassin Monkey here. Time to talk, because it marks quite something. Hard to believe your show has been going on for almost 2 years. To think I've been around for equal time. Quite fun, because it also aligns with my graduation, becoming active in the fandom, and making my first pony art. But yes, it has always been a joy to see all the art highlights, to hear the talk around art, and just how it's put together. It makes for a fun, enjoyable environment, one made by you guys. And just seeing how the community around it evolves from old familiar names to new ones. I guess mine is among those names, which I wouldn't want any other way, by the way. So, thank you for keeping up that ecosystem, the quality, and the community. Now, I think there's an extra bit that I owe all of the listeners here. Each one of us has something special that makes us different, that makes us rare. We have a light that shines within us that we were always meant to share. And when we come together, command the light that shines within. There is nothing we can do, there is no battle we can win. When we come together, there'll be a star to guide the way. It's inside us every day. See it now, see it now. Let the rainbow remind you that together we will always shine. Let the rainbow remind you that forever this will be our time. Let the rainbow remind you that together we will always shine.
Hey!
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Okay, so that reminds me, and I definitely made a promise to a couple people that I would sing on episode 100. So because he did the princess song, I will do the chorus from the princess song so people get off my back about singing. Okay? So let's get this over with, and then we can talk about Assassin Monkey. Okay? It's probably going to take a few tries.
Do you want some chorus with you?
No.
Okay. That'd be hard to organize.
I just need to get their first note. Know that your time is coming soon. As the sun rises, so does the moon. As love finds a place in every heart, you are a podcast. You'll play your part. Assassin Monkey, we should do a duet sometime. It'd be sweet. Yeah. So, Assassin Monkey, besides your wonderful singing, which you thought that we would cut out, he gave us like 4 versions of it.
Yeah.
Because he was like, it's a bit long and I do singing. But no, we kept it all in, bud. Come on.
Yay. Yeah. Dude, that's what we live for. Seriously. Assassin Monkey's singing. Top notch.
This is what we've waited 100 episodes for.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yay. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sending in your wonderful, wonderful audio clip, even if it was at like 5 a.m. at our time. We actually didn't even like notice it was there until we were looking through like one last time and we were like, oh, there's Assassin Monkey. Right, gotta put that in.
Yep. Yeah. It was like, well, we expected it, and there it is.
Bam. Awesome.
No, Assassin Monkey is one of the artists that I feel has shown the most improvement, and he started right around the same time that we started, and he followed our podcast and we followed his art, and it was kind of a mutual growing kind of thing. Like, I don't know, it's so weird to describe because it really is like that. Basically, Assassin Monkey started his art, and then he watched our podcast and he continually grew and stuff like that, and all of a sudden now he's got like this amazing art, and we've been featuring it on the show, and maybe we'll have him on the show in the future or something like that.
Wow, you're really bad at keeping a secret.
I know, it's so terrible. But no, seriously, Assassin Monkey, thank you so much. That is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seriously. Awesome guy. Does a stream every single week, he bookends our podcast in a way because he actually listens to our podcast on the show while he's streaming. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, after you're done watching our show, go check out Assassin Monkey's stream. I think he streams all weekend, too.
Yeah, he does. He does Saturday
He's
streams.
He's a streaming monster.
Yeah.
Dude doesn't sleep. It's unhealthy.
So, we've got about 15 minutes left, and I wanted to talk about our Tumblr thing at the end, so that leaves a little bit of time there. But what I want to do is quickly just go through kind of the same questions that we were asking you guys, the what have you learned and what have you enjoyed. And I want to go through those with all of us as well. So let's do this, but let's do this in reverse order because I know Amos Barkey wanted to go first once, so we're gonna do this in reverse order. So why don't you start us off there, bud?
Okay, so what were the questions again?
You're the questions master. Do you seriously not remember? Or are you just joking?
See, the irony of that title is he also has to ask questions himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not used to this. Okay.
So,
What
Yeah,
have you
what
learned,
have you learned
and what have you
from the
enjoyed
podcast?
about the last 2 years of the podcast?
Okay, so what have I learned? I have learned all sorts of things. I had a rough sort of idea of a lot of the stuff that we talk about, but being here and like actually talking about it has taught me so much more about these things, like blue orange. I've always liked the blue and orange sort of mix, but never had a word for it. No, I do. What's blue orange? Same with blurple. I like blurple too.
Blurple's good.
Christ.
Um,
Analogous words.
yes, analogous. You know, I have a word for it. Analogous. Also blurable. Yeah, like just a whole bunch of stuff that I really sort of like had a rough idea of, but now I know more about it. Stuff I've enjoyed. Everything. From being like, if I hadn't have been in this podcast, I probably wouldn't have gone to Everfree Northwest because I wouldn't have had no reason to go to Everfree Northwest. And I did, and I went, and now it's pretty much a year after that, and Silver is sitting over there. That wouldn't have happened.
Hi, Silver. Hi, Danny. Hi, Silver.
She probably just gave you this really like awkward look of like, why are you mentioning me on the podcast?
She gave me a sort of little sort of wave, waving at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Aw, that's awesome.
I've enjoyed you too.
You've enjoyed me?
All right. What about you, Flutter Guy? You're next.
Oh, what have I learned? Like I said before, I walked into this podcast not knowing anything about art. Like, just to kind of briefly recap, like how we got started, we did a vector podcast before this, and we all kind of knew what we were doing with that, and we were critiquing vectors and stuff. And then we got asked to do this show on Everfree, and we were asked to do a show that was about more art in general rather than just vectors. And I was really, really nervous when we got started because I had absolutely no idea anything about art really. And thankfully, like Burned and Rainbow Plasma and Atmospark, you guys kind of helped guide me through learning about art stuff. And now I can actually go to an art piece and be like, yeah, value is good there, atmospheric perspective there, it's got diagonals, so we got motion and stuff like that. So a lot of cool stuff. And I have really enjoyed every minute of being on the podcast, and also every minute of being in the chat with people, because I usually watch the episodes in the live stream. It's a lot of fun, and like hanging out with you guys and hanging out with our fans is amazing. And I also really, really, really enjoy all of the fan art that has been made for us, because it is like, it's I still can't believe that, we get that much fan art, because we don't really ask for it. It's just like, wow, you guys watch our show and you enjoy us that much. So it's really cool. Thank you guys. Fjörnd.
Fjörnd! My friend Fjörnd. It is your Fjörnd. As in turn.
All right. What have I learned? Like, everything to do with art? Because, like, I knew a bit in, like, the scale of who knew the most in, like, art when we started. Like, I was still a little bit up there, but I wasn't taking, like, art classes. I was just kind of interested in them. And then when we started the show, it inspired me to take more art classes. Like, I actually signed up for art classes at Clark because of the show. And then from there, I spread my wings and started to soar, if you will, and started learning all about art, taking drawing, taking painting, art history, like all that kind of stuff. And it was a blast, and I loved it. So I learned a lot of stuff that I really enjoyed about art. Because of this show, I've learned all that. Wow. I've also learned how to be outgoing. Because, like, when we started the show and doing Vector Club Weekly and stuff, like, I was extremely introverted. I was extremely shy. People knowing that I watched My Little Pony was, like, an existential crisis for me. And because of this show, doing this podcast, being outgoing, talking on a mic, learning about things I'm passionate about, it has extremely opened me up and changed me to someone I would not have been before by any means. And what I've enjoyed is learning about art. I've loved it. And obviously, like, coming on a show and talking with 4 guys every single week, like, I get to do that. I would have never done that before. I would have just, like, sat on my computer in my lonely self. But because of critiquing vectors, I was exposed to you guys, and now I have 3 awesome people to go talk to every single week. And I always look forward to that. So, yeah.
Aww.
Yay. Aw.
You're adorable. I would pinch your cheeks, but you're just an icon on my screen.
Aw.
You can do it anyway.
That's true. I actually did while I was saying it.
You gotta be careful. Octavia will get jealous.
Hey. So.
All right.
Yeah, my turn.
Rainbow Phasma.
So what have I learned? I mean, these guys have said a lot of, like, the general stuff that I was gonna say, like learning about art and learning about that kind of stuff. So I'll go off on my own kind of thing. I learned a lot. What a lot of people don't really know about me is, I mean, like, when we do a podcast, you only kind of get to see, like, a part of us, and you know, we're not fake, you know, it's always a part of us that we're showing, but you obviously don't get to know, like, everything that we do and, like, all of our personalities and, like, all of our interests and stuff. For me personally, I'm a really introspective person. I always like to be on this kind of journey of self-improvement, and so part of that is kind of putting myself in different situations and kind of encountering a bunch of different people who can teach me about, you know, their own way of doing things and how I can kind of learn to incorporate that into my own life. And so,
You're like Twilight in more ways than one.
I know, I am the Twilight of this podcast.
Yeah, you are.
And so, you know, part of the awesome thing that this podcast has brought to me is to be able to learn from the 3 of you, you know, how you all work and kind of, you know, it's not always easy. You know, sometimes it's a struggle to get me to learn it, but, like, to learn how you guys tick and what makes you guys, you know, motivates you and what you know, what your preferences are, and learning to accommodate these 4 different personalities into the show, because the last thing I want to do, you know, especially, you know, 2 years ago when we were just starting out, last thing I wanted to do, being, like, the most comfortable person on the microphone, was to kind of take over and to make it my own show. I want it to be, like, our show. And so this whole thing has been, like, a learning process for me in terms of, like, your guys' personalities and how it's all kind of melded together, and it's really helped me a lot. As for what I've enjoyed, it's really hard to describe what I've enjoyed, but I guess I've talked about it a little bit. I really enjoy the fact that this kind of helps solidify these friendships that I'm making with these 3 people, and kind of, you know, helps us. It gives us a reason to come together every single week. You know, when you don't have a reason to do stuff like that, a lot of times it can be like, nah, I was busy this week, I was tired, blah 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 blah. But this is always, like, a definitive, like, no, we have to get together this week, we've got this thing to do. And you know, it ends up being, you know, after this podcast, I'm sure we'll hang out for a couple hours and we'll talk, or, you know, it makes us talk during the week because we have stuff to talk about, you know. So I've really enjoyed how the podcast has kind of brought all of us together, and it evidently has worked, because people keep mentioning how it worked and how much it kind of shows. And so that's really what I've enjoyed. And that's a podcast.
Yay!
That's an hour and a half, 100 episode podcast that we've done now.
Man.
That is something.
Wow.
It's so...
Guys.
So much of this is surreal. It really is. All of this is surreal. Yeah. When I see fan art of us, it doesn't click. When we get these emails and I read them and I listen to the audio, it won't sink in until a couple days from now that I realize, you know, like, what this all means, and the fact that we have fans in different countries, and the fact that we've done 2 years of this. I've moved 5 cities 5 hours away from, you know, people have moved. We've had different jobs, like but it's always been this constant the last 2 years. And that's 2 years, guys.
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
So if you've been watching every single one of our episodes, you've been listening to us for 120 hours, roughly.
Wow.
Even more spoiler casts.
Congrats. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I included spoiler casts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
100
120 hours.
100-hour-long episodes plus 26. It's 39 spoiler casts.
That's like 10 days. That's a week.
Yeah.
That is 2 business weeks worth of content straight without any sleeping.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
That's crazy.
It's nuts.
Like, thank you guys seriously for watching, because it really means a lot to us that you guys not only watch, but you kind of take away things and you give back to other people, and like we see friendships popping up here and there from our fans, and we get to talk to you and we get to see your awesome art, and I don't know, it means so much to us that you guys do take the time to watch our show, because we started out as just this little podcast, and yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
100 episodes.
I love you all so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I whisper that creepily in your ear sometimes, but I mean it.
Yeah.
Occasionally you stroke someone's chest, you know.
So much.
It's true, man.
Yeah, like, you know, this is such a crazy endeavor that, you know, the idea started in my head just because I was bored and I wanted to. I had just stopped making video content for Machinima, which was what I did before this. And like, I was like, man, I really want to start video editing again and like doing something and kind of, you know, I had that itch again. So I talked to these guys and it turned into this, you know, like I consider this this is my favorite project that I've ever done. And this is like the biggest project that I've ever done. And I mean, not to toot my own horn, but that's saying a lot, you know, like I've done a lot of cool stuff to do with like videos and stuff like that. But this is definitely something that I've looked back on as like the most awesome, especially like hitting that 100 mark. It's such an accomplishment. It's so awesome. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So thank you guys all for watching. Thank you guys on the podcast with me for sticking around with it and putting in your time and effort, you know, taking your lumps and you know, we've all taken time out of our schedule to make and edit this podcast. You know, Burn, thank you so much for taking over the editing. It makes my life so much easier every second week. You know, thank you everyone ever who is involved with this podcast, because it's just been so awesome.
Thank you, me, for waking up every Saturday at 6 o'clock in the morning to do this stupid thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're waking up super early. Like, I know, Flutter Guy, you always put in like so much extra effort into this. You're always here like super early, like getting the art ready, and you're doing the stuff for the live stream. And like I said, like you all like, contribute so much, and you have made this project like a team effort, and obviously it shows. And thank you to the fans, and thank you everyone. It's awesome.
I've never really thought about it, but until like just now, and it clicked. But have you thought about how much time we've actually dedicated to this? Like,
Right.
We take our entire Friday, basically, like from when we get off work or get out of school, from 2:30 for me until it's 6 o'clock right now.
Yeah.
And then we're not going to be done for another hour until we like get done with our audio and stuff. And then also editing on top of that, taking our Saturday and Sunday, which is also another 2 to 3 hour process.
Yeah, you
Like-
take that 120 hours of you guys listening to us and add at least 2 hours a day, or 2
Multiply
hours
it by like 5. Like,
Yeah.
really.
That.
like it's crazy. And I mean, like, I wouldn't change. I wish we had more time to do it, honestly. I wish, like, looking back on it, like it's the equivalent of like 2 months or something, 2.5 months out of the last 2 years that we've spent on this, you know, like a 12th of our of our time, you know, our lives on this. But I wish that we could do more. But and speaking of doing more,
Hey,
yes!
perfect transition.
Speaking of doing more, you know, we have our plugs every week. They're going to be up on the screen right now. You already know them, and we're not going to go through them. But we have a new one, and we wanted to unveil it in our 100th episode. Over the last 3 or 4 weeks, we've been working with Silver Rain Clouds, who is sitting in the background in Joel's house. And she has been putting together our Tumblr and kind of organizing and designing that and making sure that we would be totally up and running for that. So starting this week, we're going to start being on Tumblr, and we can take your if you submit a question on Tumblr, not only will we be able to answer like some of the smaller ones that we wouldn't be able to on the show, but we can also get those straight to our email, because it sends an email to us. So you can submit questions through Tumblr now. And you know, you can post fan art. What's our like tag again, Atmos Park?
We've got a tag. It's Cutie Art Crusaders. not CAC, because that's like a bunch of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
just
so
hashtag Cutie Art Crusaders.
If you tag your stuff as I guess hashtag Cutie Art Crusaders, then we can see it on Tumblr and we can like it or reblog it or whatever. I don't know how super active we'll be on there, but we're gonna try to like put this into a regular rotation. So what do you do on Tumblr? Do you follow?
You can follow blogs, and you can also follow hashtags. So if you want to see stuff that people tag us in, you can follow the hashtag Cutie Art Crusaders. You can also follow our blog.
Awesome. So yeah, we've got this new Tumblr thing that we're trying out, so go give it some love. A lot of people, like 70% of the people on our poll wanted a Tumblr, so you better use it.
I think, if I remember rightly, last time I checked, which was last week, we had 9 followers already, and we haven't even started anything on it yet.
Yeah,
That's
so,
awesome.
And now it's
it
all
was-
pretty looking.
It was just your face, wasn't it?
It was just your face. Yeah.
YOLO swagger.
So yeah.
It was my face.
Yeah. So there's our
Now
Tumblr.
it's all pretty.
And that's it. That's episode 100 for you guys. That is the culmination of our first 100 episodes. If we make it to 200 episodes, then I'm going to go back to this audio and I'm going to cut it in. Because if we make it to 200 episodes, I am going to go outside and scream for the microphone. Okay? I'm going to take my microphone outside and I'm going to yell, "What the heck has happened?" into the microphone as loud as possible.
What's going on?
Hey guys,
What is
can
going on in my
we-
life?
Can we at 200 episodes? Can we then drop our rap album or something?
You heard it here first, folks. 2 years
We'll
from
make it
now.
to 200 episodes. I'll rap for you.
Oh my God.
It'll probably be like an hour-long blooper reel.
Oh
We're
my
not
God,
doing
yes.
bloopers anymore. No.
Why not?
Nonsense.
Good
Because it's too hard to edit.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Anyways.
So,
That's it. I don't know.
by the way,
What?
do we have something for next week?
Shut up.
Is that?
I've got this. So
Okay.
we're not going to give you the theme for next week because we just did 100 episodes and we need just a break here. So we're not even gonna break like as in we're not doing an episode next week. It's just literally give us a break. We don't want to go look up the theme for next week. We'll deal with it later. So
Well, Burned could have had something.
Oh,
planned.
Bern! Did you happen to have
Oh.
something? Did you happen to have something for me?
I may have attempted to schedule a special guest for once.
For once.
For the first time in quite some time.
Our last special guest was Leakfish.
That's true.
What's our next special guest then, Bern? Because you seem to be leading up to something.
Next week on the podcast, we are planned to have Assassin Monkey.
So, our last special guest was episode 68.
And our next special guest is episode 101 with Assassin Monkey. I'm glad that you told me beforehand, as opposed to now. Anyways, that is everything for this week. I hope you guys have enjoyed the last 100 episodes. I hope you guys have learned stuff from the last 100 episodes. I know we have. And once again, just thank you to everyone who puts in the time to listen to the four of us ramble on every single week. You guys make it all worth it. So that is everything for this week. Whether or not you're on the live stream or on YouTube, we love you all the same. My name is Rainbow Plasma.
I'm Burned01.
I'm Flutterguy317.
I'm Atmospark.
And we'll see you guys for the next 100 episodes of the Cutie Art Crusaders.
Bye, guys.
Peace.
This cake is awesome.
God damn it.